Here. Of course, if we want to express contrast between two situations, between two sentences, two actions, I have different things that I can use. Some we know, like but and yet. They mean exactly the same thing, okay? And we use them for contrast. I love her, but she's mean. Look, I love her, but she is mean. So these are in contrast, like I love her, but she's mean, you know, I'm expressing two different ideas. But also I can add the subordinators, like what? Like although, even though, while, whereas, despite, and in spite of. Now, look over here. All of them can be used interchangeably somehow. And these three, although, even though, and though, they mean the same thing. Let me use one in a sentence, okay? Even though she is mean, I love her. Even though she's mean, I love her. Also in this sentence, I have two sentences and I'm showing contrast. But look, I used even though at the beginning of the sentence with the sentence that I'm using but with. It's like the opposite of but. Okay, it means the same somehow, but I use it with the other sentence. Now, also, despite. Now, despite, girls, it means, you know, it shows actually the contrast in a very full way. Look over here. Despite, let me just find, despite that she's mean, or despite that she is mean, I still love her. Look, despite that she is mean, I love her. Despite her meanness, I still love her. So also, despite, it actually means بالرغم من. And it's a very strong word to show
like over, right?
It's same over.
Exactly, very good. But for me, I see it's a bit, you know, stronger in meaning. So despite that she's mean, I still love her. The same thing, for example, also in spite of, it means exactly like despite. For example, in spite of the heat, she is wearing a jacket. In spite of the heat, she is wearing a jacket. But we have to make sure what follows these subordinators. For example, but I have a subject, okay? I have a full sentence. Over here, I have the same thing, full sentence after although. Here is also she is mean. I have what? A full sentence. But in case of in spite of the heat, I have a noun, okay? I have a noun. So in spite of the heat, in spite of kindness, I have a noun, of course, after it. And with practice, it's going to be much better. But they somehow, they mean the same mostly. Are they clear so far? I'm feeling that you don't understand, girls. Do you understand so far? Is it clear?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Now, the last one is the transition of linking adverbs. Now, we have linking adverbs. We link sentences with them. We're going to practice, don't worry. We have nevertheless, nonetheless, however, on the other hand, on contrast to, on the contrary, then again, or conversely. All of these, if my voice is clear along with the camera, I want you to focus on me, girls.
Yeah.
All of them mean the same. Nevertheless, nonetheless, whereas. When do we use them? We use them in speaking and also in writing, of course. And they are very formal. When do I use them? I use them if I'm talking about a subject, okay? A topic, whatever it is. And then I want to talk about something contrary to that subject, the opposite. For example, Raja is a very quiet person. On the other hand, Dima is not very quiet. See, the opposite. On the other hand, another one. I have 2 siblings. They spend a lot of time at home. Okay, they spend a lot of time at home. However, I don't get to see them a lot. So they always at home, but I don't see them. Look, I used but, the same thing as however. On the other hand, nevertheless, the same thing. It goes on and on. On the contrary, for example, Titanic was a very tragic movie. On the contrary, Working Moms was a very nice movie. It was very fun. On the contrary, على العكس. I'm mentioning something that is totally the opposite. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Now, how can we use them? Just to have, for me, sometimes if I'm writing like an essay or a report, I would have them like on the list next to me, so I wouldn't repeat the same thing over and over again. So sometimes I just forget them. Okay, in contrast to, I can use on the contrary instead. I can use then again. I can use nonetheless. So you can always have them next to you and you can change between them. Okay?
Yes, it's a good idea.
Yes, of course. I always do it. Perfect. Let's go ahead.